You know, back in the day, I used to think that all Yuri was just porn. Straight up animated lesbian porn. But then, an anime came along that showed me that Yuri could be something much more than that. It can be just as great as any other anime genre. It also showed me that the love between two women can be just as beautiful as the love between a man and a woman. So, with that sappy intro out of the way, hello and welcome to Anime Memories, and on this episode I'm going to be talking about Aoi Hana. Fumi Manjome is a high school freshman who is incredibly confused since she seems to be attracted to other girls. On the way to school one day, she encounters a groper on a train. Luckily, she's saved by her childhood friend Akira, who she calls Achan. The story follows Fumi as she aims to figure out her sexual orientation with Akira's help. When it comes to the main plot, the synopsis that I just rattled off pretty much sums it up. It's a fairly standard coming-of-age story that has Fumi learning about who she is and how she can deal with her emotions. This isn't to say it was bad though. I found it very enjoyable to watch Fumi change from this insecure little girl into a confident woman. But here's the thing, right? The show makes up for having a fairly simple main plot by having all these different smaller subplots. You get to follow a variety of characters as they struggle with various issues, and the resolutions that they finally come to are incredibly satisfying. With this, you don't just get one great story, you get like 4 or 5 great stories. This is one of those anime that focuses more on the character development than the plot, and it works in its favour. Now, with the fact that this is a slice of life anime, the pacing is pretty slow and there are no real big earth-shattering events. It feels like the show is whimsically moving along like a light breeze, which for some people is probably going to be extremely boring. If you've watched Slice of Life in the past, you should have a fairly good idea of whether or not you'll be able to put up with the pacing. Another thing that might put a few people off is the Yuri tag. Some of you might be asking, okay, how extreme is the lesbianism? Are there scenes of like the girls scissoring or pressing their breasts up against each other? Despite what the opening might lead you to believe, no, it's really nothing like that. The Yuri elements are quite tame since it doesn't go past kissing. So most people will be fine with this, but if you're one of those people that just gets disgusted thinking about two girls kissing, honestly I think you need to be more open-minded. And this anime will be a great way to open your mind to homosexual relationships since it's realistic and pretty mild when it comes to the Yuri scenes. One of the things that makes this anime so realistic is that it covers problems that you actually have to deal with as a teenager. These include learning how to manage your emotions and struggling with your identity. It also covers many of the issues that come with being homosexual, such as the fear of being rejected by society.
付き合ってるの。あーちゃんに嫌われたくない。気持ち悪いなんて思わないで。
This scene in particular hit me extremely hard. I could imagine so many homosexual teenagers saying the exact same thing to their parents and friends, just begging for their acceptance. The only massive black mark against the story is the ending, which doesn't really feel like much of an ending. It feels more like the first part of an ongoing series, which it kind of is. With only 11 episodes, they weren't able to cover all 9 volumes of the manga, so they had to stop partway through. The point they decided to end on was significant, but it was still unsatisfying since the anime doesn't feel complete. Now, I've used the term realistic a few times when describing this show, and one of the things that makes the show feel so real are the characters. I've already mentioned how likeable Fumi is, however, I could see a few people getting frustrated with how emotional she is. All I can say is that I've come across many Fumis over the years, so giving her a timid and fragile personality helped me relate to her. And this is the case with the entire cast. They feel like real people that I could actually meet someday. Regardless of who you are, there will be someone in here that you can relate to. My personal favourite character was Fumi's upperclassman, Sugimoto. She had so many layers to her. She was calm and friendly on the surface, but you soon realise that she's actually very selfish. There was this constant air of mystery around her. I was always trying to figure out who she really was and what her goals were. The only character that I had problems with was Shinobu, who cares very, very deeply for his younger sister.
そんなんだからいつまで経っても彼女できないんじゃん。私の心配より自分の心配してよ。
俺にはお前がいれば。
キモいこと言うな。
I'm not really sure what the intention was here, but it comes off as creepy. When talking about the visuals, the colours seem to be toned down, especially when compared to anime today that are really bright and in your face. I'm not saying the art looks bad, in fact, I thought it was quite nice, it just doesn't have the same vibrance that most modern anime have. I'm guessing that they did it this way because they wanted to create an easygoing atmosphere, which they totally accomplished. The animation is about what you'd expect from a short romance anime. There aren't any action scenes, so the characters don't move all that much, but when they do, it looks very smooth. Another aspect that fits the show's atmosphere is the soundtrack. Even when there's a ton of drama happening on screen, the music stays pretty relaxed. The primary instrument that they use is the piano, but they do make use of other instruments as well. The ending theme actually has a combination of a piano, an acoustic guitar, and a violin. It sounds beautiful, it's one of the most enjoyable endings that I've heard in a while. Then there's the voice acting, which was pretty laid back. They can emote when they need to, however, they don't talk like cartoon characters, they talk like actual people. All the lines are delivered in a natural way. It's very similar to the kind of acting you would find in an underground independent movie. The technical aspects come together perfectly to create a calm tone that makes the show really pleasant to watch. The one minor issue that I have is that there's no dub. If you're a sub guy, then you're in the clear, but if you prefer dubs, I would hope that the lack of one here doesn't put you off. I'm a dub guy myself, so believe me when I say that this anime is worth sitting through subtitles for. To me, Aoi Hana isn't just one of the best Yuris I've seen. It's one of the best romances I've seen in general. I would put it right up there with some of the most highly regarded romance anime like Princess Jellyfish and Golden Time. If you haven't watched a Yuri before, this would be a fantastic place to start. So anyway, thank you very much to everybody who watched this video. If you have any feedback, feel free to leave a comment. If you like this video and want to see more, feel free to subscribe as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.